Dorothea Dix rose as a fearless reformer. Born in 1802 and passing in 1887, she exposed the horrors of prisons and asylums, leading a movement for humane mental health care. Her portrait reflects the unyielding resolve of a woman who carved compassion from cruelty. Sojourner Truth rose as a fearless voice for freedom. Born in 1797 and passing in 1883, she escaped slavery, renamed herself in 1843, and became a fierce abolitionist and defender of women's rights. Her portrait reflects the unyielding spirit of a woman who turned bondage into power. Elizabeth Blackwell rose as a fearless pioneer. Born in 1821 and passing in 1910, she became the first woman in the United States to earn a medical degree in 1849, defying barriers of her time. Her portrait reflects the steadfast resolve of a woman who carved equality from exclusion. Lucy Stone rose as a fearless champion of equality. Born in 1818 and passing in 1893, she founded the American Woman Suffrage Association, organized the first National Women's Rights Convention, and defied tradition by keeping her name. Her portrait reflects the courage of a woman who turned defiance into progress. Susan B. Anthony rose as a fearless crusader for justice. Born in 1820 and passing in 1906, she dedicated her life to the fight for women's suffrage, challenging laws and leading a national movement. Her portrait reflects the steadfast will of a woman who transformed struggle into lasting change. Florence Nightingale rose as a fearless reformer in medicine. Born in 1820 and passing in 1910, she gained renown by organizing nursing during the Crimean War and later transformed public health at St. Thomas's Hospital. Her portrait reflects the enduring resolve of a woman who turned compassion into lasting reform. Victoria Claflin Woodhull rose as a fearless voice for equality. Born in 1838 and passing in 1927, she shattered convention as the first woman to run for U.S. President in 1872 and championed women's rights and social reform. Her portrait reflects the bold spirit of a woman who turned vision into action. Dr. Mary Walker rose as a fearless pioneer in medicine and service. Born in 1832 and passing in 1919, she served as an assistant surgeon in the Union Army during the Civil War and became the only woman awarded the Medal of Honor. Her portrait reflects the resolute courage of a woman who turned duty into history. Clara Zetkin rose as a fearless political voice. Born in 1857 and passing in 1933, she championed women's rights, organized working-class movements, and was a driving force behind International Women's Day. Her portrait reflects the steadfast spirit of a woman who turned struggle into solidarity. Emmeline Pankhurst rose as a fearless architect of suffrage. Born in 1858 and passing in 1928, she fought tirelessly for women's rights, enduring arrests and leading bold campaigns that shook Britain. Her portrait reflects the indomitable will of a woman who turned protest into victory. Marie Curie rose as a fearless pioneer of science. Born in 1867 and passing in 1934, she discovered polonium and radium, coined the term radioactivity, and earned the 1911 Nobel Prize in Chemistry. Her portrait reflects the steadfast brilliance of a woman who turned discovery into legacy. Margaret Sanger rose as a fearless advocate for women's health. Born in 1879 and passing in 1966, she championed birth control, sex education, and access to reproductive care, sparking a movement that reshaped women's rights. Her portrait reflects the bold resolve of a woman who turned controversy into change. Helen Keller rose as a fearless voice of perseverance. Born in 1880 and passing in 1968, though blind and deaf, she became an author, lecturer, and advocate for disability rights and social justice. Her portrait reflects the indomitable spirit of a woman who turned silence into power. Eleanor Roosevelt rose as a fearless champion of human dignity. Born in 1884 and passing in 1962, she redefined the role of First Lady and later led the drafting of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Her portrait reflects the steadfast will of a woman who turned compassion into global justice. Alice Paul rose as a fearless warrior for suffrage. Born in 1885 and passing in 1977, she led relentless campaigns for the vote, authored the Equal Rights Amendment, and reshaped the fight for gender equality. Her portrait reflects the unyielding spirit of a woman who turned protest into progress. Golda Meir rose as a fearless leader on the world stage. Born in 1898 and passing in 1978, she became Israel's first female prime minister, guiding her nation through turbulent times with resolve. Her portrait reflects the unwavering strength of a woman who turned challenge into leadership. Frida Kahlo rose as a fearless voice in art. Born in 1907 and passing in 1954, she transformed pain and passion into vivid self-portraits that defied convention and celebrated identity. Her portrait reflects the unbreakable spirit of a woman who turned suffering into beauty. Jacqueline Cochran rose as a fearless trailblazer of aviation. Born in 1906 and passing in 1980, she set records in the skies, won the Bendix Trophy, and paved the way for women pilots. Her portrait reflects the bold determination of a woman who turned ambition into triumph. Amy Johnson rose as a fearless pioneer of flight. Born in 1903 and passing in 1941, she captured the world's imagination with record-breaking journeys, including her daring flight to Tokyo. Her portrait reflects the daring resolve of a woman who turned the skies into her legacy. Rachel Carson rose as a fearless defender of nature. Born in 1907 and passing in 1964, she ignited the modern environmental movement with her groundbreaking book, Silent Spring. Her portrait reflects the steadfast courage of a woman who turned science into a call for justice. Mother Teresa rose as a fearless servant of humanity. Born in 1910 and passing in 1997, she dedicated her life to the poor and sick in Calcutta, founding the Missionaries of Charity. Her portrait reflects the boundless compassion of a woman who turned faith into tireless service. Nancy Wake rose as a fearless fighter of resistance. Born in 1912 and passing in 2011, she smuggled Allied soldiers, led daring missions in France, and earned the nickname White Mouse for eluding capture. Her portrait reflects the indomitable spirit of a woman who turned defiance into freedom. Virginia Apgar rose as a fearless innovator in medicine. Born in 1909 and passing in 1974, she transformed newborn care with the creation of the Apgar score, saving countless infant lives. Her portrait reflects the determined brilliance of a woman who turned compassion into scientific progress. Dorothy Crowfoot. Hodgkin rose as a fearless pioneer of science. Born in 1910 and passing in 1994, she unlocked the structures of vital biomolecules and earned the 1964 Nobel Prize in Chemistry. Her portrait reflects the brilliant resolve of a woman who turned discovery into lasting legacy. Barbara McClintock rose as a fearless innovator in genetics. Born in 1902 and passing in 1992, she unveiled the secrets of DNA with her discovery of jumping genes, earning the 1983 Nobel Prize. Her portrait reflects the unwavering brilliance of a woman who turned research into revelation. Rosa Parks rose as a fearless catalyst for justice. Born in 1913 and passing in 2005, she ignited the civil rights movement when she refused to surrender her bus seat, challenging segregation. Her portrait reflects the quiet strength of a woman who turned defiance into freedom. Billie Holiday rose as a fearless voice of song. Born in 1915 and passing in 1959, she poured pain and passion into jazz, giving the world haunting ballads like Strange Fruit that echoed with truth. Her portrait reflects the soul of a woman who turned sorrow into timeless art. Indira Gandhi rose as a fearless political leader. Born in 1917 and passing in 1984, she became India's first and only female prime minister, steering her nation through war and transformation. Her portrait reflects the formidable resolve of a woman who turned power into history. Simone de Beauvoir rose as a fearless voice of philosophy. Born in 1908 and passing in 1986, she reshaped thought with The Second Sex in 1949, challenging oppression and defining modern feminism. Her portrait reflects the enduring intellect of a woman who turned ideas into revolution. Aretha Franklin rose as a fearless voice of soul. Born in 1942 and passing in 2018, she reigned as the Queen of Soul, blending gospel power with popular music and becoming an icon of pride and resistance. Her portrait reflects the radiant spirit of a woman who turned song into strength. Maya Angelou rose as a fearless voice of truth. Born in 1928 and passing in 2014, she gave the world powerful works like I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, blending art and activism. Her portrait reflects the unshakable spirit of a woman who turned words into freedom. Margaret Thatcher rose as a fearless force in politics. Born in 1925 and passing in 2013, she became Britain's first female prime minister, leading with conviction as the Iron Lady. Her portrait reflects the steadfast resolve of a woman who turned determination into power. Benazir Bhutto rose as a fearless voice for democracy. Born in 1953 and passing in 2007, she became the first woman to lead Pakistan as prime minister, breaking barriers in a turbulent era. Her portrait reflects the unyielding spirit of a woman who turned struggle into leadership. Jane Goodall rose as a fearless pioneer of primatology. Born in 1934, she transformed science with her groundbreaking study of chimpanzees in Gombe, reshaping our understanding of nature. Her portrait reflects the gentle strength of a woman who turned observation into empathy. Jane Goodall rose as a fearless explorer of the natural world. Born in 1934, she revolutionized primatology with her studies of chimpanzee behavior in Tanzania, revealing their deep kinship to humans. Her portrait reflects the quiet resolve of a woman who turned science into compassion. Angela Davis rose as a fearless voice for justice. Born in 1944, she became a leading activist, scholar, and author, confronting racism, sexism, and the prison system while shaping radical thought. Her portrait reflects the steadfast spirit of a woman who turned struggle into scholarship. Billie Jean King rose as a fearless champion of equality. Born in 1943, she reigned on the tennis court with 39 Grand Slam titles while fighting tirelessly for gender pay equity and women's rights. Her portrait reflects the fierce resolve of a woman who turned sport into social change. Sally Ride rose as a fearless pioneer of space. Born in 1951 and passing in 2012, She became the first American woman in space aboard the Space Shuttle Challenger in 1983, inspiring generations of scientists and astronauts. Her portrait reflects the trailblazing spirit of a woman who turned courage into history. Eileen Collins rose as a fearless pioneer of spaceflight. Born in 1956, she became the first female space shuttle pilot in 1995, guiding Discovery on a historic mission to rendezvous with Russia's Mir space station. Her portrait reflects the steady courage of a woman who turned skill into groundbreaking achievement. Wangari Maathai rose as a fearless champion of the environment. Born in 1940 and passing in 2011, she founded the Greenbelt movement and became the first African woman Nobel laureate, advocating for conservation and social justice. Her portrait reflects the unwavering spirit of a woman who turned activism into lasting change. Lema Gbowe rose as a fearless advocate for peace. Born in 1972, she led Liberian women in a nonviolent movement that helped end civil war, earning the Nobel Peace Prize in 2011. Her portrait reflects the resolute courage of a woman who turned unity into transformative change. Hillary Clinton rose as a fearless advocate for public service. Born in 1947, she served as First Lady, U.S. Senator, and Secretary of State, championing healthcare, women's rights, and diplomacy. Her portrait reflects the determined spirit of a woman who turned leadership into lasting influence. Aung San Suu Kyi rose as a fearless champion of democracy. Born in 1945, she led Myanmar's nonviolent struggle for political freedom, enduring years of house arrest. Her portrait reflects the steadfast resolve of a woman who turned patience and courage into a symbol of national hope. Madonna rose as a fearless icon of pop culture. Born in 1958, she transformed music, fashion, and film with her bold creativity and boundary-pushing performances. Her portrait reflects the daring spirit of a woman who turned artistry into cultural revolution. Diana, Princess of Wales, rose as a fearless advocate of compassion. Born in 1961 and passing in 1997, she redefined royalty through humanitarian work, charity, and empathy for the marginalized. Her portrait reflects the enduring grace of a woman who turned visibility into lasting kindness. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf rose as a fearless leader of her nation. Born in 1938, she became the first female president of Liberia, guiding her country through recovery and promoting peace and development. Her portrait reflects the steadfast resolve of a woman who turned leadership into transformative change. Michelle Bachelet rose as a fearless leader for equality. Born in 1951, she served twice as president of Chile and championed social justice, human rights, and education reform. Her portrait reflects the determined spirit of a woman who turned governance into lasting progress. Condoleezza Rice rose as a fearless diplomat and strategist. Born in 1954, she served as U.S. Secretary of State and National Security Advisor, shaping foreign policy and global relations. Her portrait reflects the steadfast intellect of a woman who turned expertise into historic influence. Malalai Joya rose as a fearless voice for justice. Born in 1978, she became a prominent Afghan activist and politician, speaking out against warlords and advocating for women's rights. Her portrait reflects the unyielding courage of a woman who turned defiance into a beacon of hope.